Welcome to Attainable Green. I'm Jess, and today we're going to talk about my recent trip to Andy's Orchid Summer Open House. This was my first time at the greenhouse, and it was so amazing. I just don't have words. This place kind of reminds me of an orchid hobbyist whose passion for orchids and plants has grown to such an extent that it becomes a commercial nursery. As you can see, there are literally plants from floor to ceiling and stuffed in almost every nook and cranny that you can find. You may start to look at one plant and discover another one and kind of get lost in the maze and in this kind of jungle of plants at this greenhouse. So this place is more of a working nursery instead of a commercial showroom or shop. It's a little bit tricky to find how these plants are organized, so it's more of a window shopping, browsing experience. If you're looking for something specific, then just ask a staff member and they can help you find it. But if you are trying to find it yourself, it may be a little bit tricky. In this place, I think the adage of you can always make more room for one more plant definitely applies. You can see how on the bench there is a rack above it and a couple more racks above it, some PVC poles with holes to carry mounts, and all sorts of really creative ideas to pack more plants in a smaller space. So if you need ideas on how to put more plants in a greenhouse or grow more vertically, then come here and get some great ideas. Of course, Andy is known for putting orchids on a stick. A lot of the plants are on mounts, but of course he also has things in net pots, in regular pots, and in other various setups. So you don't have to be scared about only getting mounted plants. There's definitely a potted variety as well. I think Andy's Orchids is interesting because he grows his plants very differently than a commercial greenhouse, or what I expect a commercial greenhouse to look like. There are plants on top of plants, everything gets rained on, watered on together, and in a way, he kind of goes against the grain of what a lot of orchid books and gurus say about what you should do about your plants. The crowns get wet, the leaves get wet, the flowers get wet, everything kind of is grown in kind of a jungle environment. So it's not that pristine, set, aesthetic kind of growing. In a way, I think he mimics more of what you see in nature and tries to bring as much of that kind of setup into cultivation. So some of the pots that you see in more of the wetter, cooler areas tend to have ferns and mosses growing on the mounts and growing on the pots. And I think that's pretty natural. If you want like no weeds on your plants, then I'm going to say that this is probably not the place for you. In the dry, hot outdoor shade houses, you'll see sobralias and lalias and dendrobiums. And then as you move towards the cooler, wetter, moister regions, you'll see things like Draculas and Restrepias and things that you'll find in dark, shady forests. So coming here, it's crazy how there are microclimates in each of these greenhouses and how all of these plants are able to thrive and do well together. I consider this place a hybrid between a botanical garden and an orchid nursery because some of these plants seem like they grow very organically and they kind of grow in a space that's kind of wild. So it has this very different energy than a normal commercial greenhouse that has rows and rows and trays upon trays of standardized seedlings. Here, everything is kind of grown on twig or on branches on mounts, and that gives it a little bit of character and diversity, and it also adds some personality to the plants. When you walk in here, you just feel the energy, you feel the life of all of these plants that are growing around you, and sometimes you really have to be present in this space to fully appreciate it. I think you have to stop, slow down, take a look at everything, and sometimes the more you look at something, you'll discover something new, and it just keeps drawing you in deeper and deeper into this greenhouse. I did pick up a few things at Andy's, and I'll share with you those in a future video. I just wanted to share with you this magical place, Andy's Orchids, that are growing a lot of orchid species and natural hybrids. But not only do they grow just orchids, they grow a lot of other plants that are rare, harder to find, a little bit more unusual. I think this is just something that's really cool, and I don't think that there is any other place quite like it. There is so much I can say about Andy's orchids, and I don't know how it'll fit into this video. But for now, I hope this gives you a slight glimpse into what it's like going to Andy's Orchids. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, Attainable Green, for all the latest updates. And hit the bell so you never miss an episode. Bye!